Looks like we're good. Alright, so I'm continuing excuse me to play around here in the market. I've been kind of, for anybody who hasn't been watching, I kind of started, well, I guess I started there, but then I kind of have been working from this direction, or starting over here and kind of working my way this way. And I've just been kind of roughing in interiors of buildings, and then doing windows and stuff like that. I need some of these to have kind of more of a treatment to the roofs as well, because I played around with it a little bit over here, and I haven't done as much of it this way, but I think what I'm going to be doing is just kind of focusing again on the layout to try to get this playable faster, and then kind of go back in and do some more of the the windows and stuff like that. So go through here now. You know what? I don't think I made an entrance to this spot. I haven't. Do I want that to be? Maybe it's reachable from in here. So like that. And again, for anybody who's new or just hasn't been around in a while, a lot of this stuff is always kind of subject to change as we run around and test stuff out. A lot of this is really easy to kind of change up how the flow is to these individual structures. So I'm just kind of play around with that. Oops. So that's 3. Alright, I need to... There we go. Now it's centered. That's... something there like that. Alright. I'm not super happy with the interior of this one. At least on the first floor. So this one might end up getting removed or edited or something along those lines. This one's got a lot of space underneath. Trying to see where would be the best spot to kind of add in that lower level. Do I want to do it through the interior, or kind of almost want to do it from the outside somewhere, but I don't leave myself a ton of room to do that. Hey, Organic, how's it going? Hey, Keith. The World Anvil is streaming. Where do I want this? See, I left that alleyway so narrow. I suppose I could... Just make sure I don't have any things attached. Make it a little tighter on this side. Oops. That was not what I wanted to grab. Alright. That was a little bit more room, but still don't know if I have enough room to really... do what I was thinking. So maybe if I just move this wall... slightly down. Just trying to flatten this area out just a pinch. There we go. Kind of wish I had the room to do it that way, but probably not. Bogus Meat Factory, thank you for the follow. And welcome. Alright. So I'm going to have to bring these walls down. Had to stop and watch some chill environment art. Awesome. Welcome to the chat as well. Are you already familiar with the project that we're working on, or are you just kind of catching the stream through the Twitch category? So I want that to be a full 2 meters down. Oh, awesome. Let's see here. So So let's get ourselves some stairs. And why was that? Is that... Oh, that could be why. Thought I had that flat, and I did not, apparently. Like, why are these not lining up with the grid correctly? And that would easily explain it. There we go. Okay, so we need 1.5 meters in height. 1.5. Whoops, not 5.4. 1.5. So we'll make this a length of 3. Oh, helps if I put it in the right spot. Sides, and then that would be 6. Yeah, that should be right. And looks like it's a local. So, for everybody who's watching, again, just more work here on the market district. Trying to get the last side or last part of this side of the street kind of finished off today. And when I say finished off, I don't necessarily mean 100% finished. Again, this is very much gray boxing and roughing out. So all these, things are subject to change as we go around and feel out the spaces. I'm almost positive some of this stuff will end up changing here and there over time as we, again, kind of get in here. Another thing, player housing could easily affect this, things like that. So, okay. So let's do this. Oops. Why is it not giving me... Oh, come on, Unity. There we go. It's annoying. I hate when it does this. There we go. Alright. And move this down. 1, 2, 3, source and 2. Oop. There. space do I have between these two? Actually, that's a lot of space, but it's just going to be what it is. Oops. Helps if I grab the whole wall. Alright, so probably do a room. Let's do like a hallway to a room. I don't want this to be another room because there's a lot of space. Yeah, let's make it just a longer room. Oh no, I did want that. Oops. Oh, grabbed it wrong. Started extruding that, which I did not want to extrude. And let's push this back. Meters. And then see if we can do a small one back here. Like so. Oops. Two, three, four, five. That's 5, almost 6. We'll see how it feels when we run around it a little bit. And I'm just going to separate this so that if its own asset, and I'm just going to throw a random material we have. Well, it's not, I guess it's not random, but whoops, that was not what I wanted. Actually, this could probably also be a part of that. Oops. And I'll just throw what we've been using as our ground on there. Let's... Hold on, what's going on? What is that? There we go. Alright. So we have that. Looks good. Now, where do I want to go? I guess over this direction. I'd already started working on this building, although I feel like I want to extend it a bit. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, that was gross. Sorry, I should have muted the mic in that one. Alright, so got that. So these could be 2 storefronts or something if that's what we want to use them for. This... I feel like, oops. Up. Just a pinch. Shame, get out the bell. Going on with this geo. This was done super quickly to get it roughed in, and it's all kinds of issues. Let's see. Unbelievable. What does this guy think sneezing? I know. Just, I'm the worst. Absolute worst. Now you must leak one one secret. Oops. So unprofessional. I know. So very unprofessional. I mean, you guys see the professional quality of the stream all the time. Only the highest production values here on Paytas the Ranger, as I almost forget the name of my channel. I'm off to a great start today, guys. Also, kudos to the EverQuest 2 music. Actually, the music in the background today is Shadows of the Colossus. But it is really good music. I used to love that game. Got the remake of it, and my youngest son, like, beat it like probably 10 times. He loved that game. Right, I'm not even sure what to do now. Alright, so I kind of want this to be a storefront and almost maybe have like a market stall or something off the side here at some point. I have been just kind of dropping these around right now. Some of them might actually stay that way, but some of them are just kind of like markers for me on like where I want some stalls to be. So I'm just going to drop this in here for now. Again, could be something that just ends up staying in this spot like this, or it could end up being like an awning or something. Again, a lot of this is kind of just representational right now to some degree until I get a final art passing. And we will move that. Oops. I don't think I'm going to worry too much about the layout of the interior here on this one. I'm just going to kind of make it a big, well, as big as I can, room. And then we can, again, figure some of this stuff out later if we want this to have more broken up space. So, you know, like, is this a second area, or is it just one large room? Now, do I want this to be a ramp, or do I want that to be stairs? Let's try something. Alright. Looks good. Oops. I love Pro Builder sometimes. Like, I click over here and accidentally did a marquee drag select, and it's just like, oh, you selected over here, you must have wanted all these faces up here. Nope. Already breaking the geo I laid out like 2 minutes ago. That's what I get for doing an interior before I finish the exterior. Okay. I'm pretty sure I just broke the geo down here somewhere. So this would need to, oh boy, let's see, fun to count. 1, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. New shape, already on stairs. So 4 high, 3 wide, 8 long. And then no sides. 4 times 4 is 16. I can math, guys. Kind of. I can artist math, guys. Hey, Shivatari, how's it going? Do the same with that one too. Okay, and then bridge that. Oops. And that. Oops. So, clean that up, and I'm sure it doesn't really like that that's not a triangle since it was so weird. What? I hate when it does that. it's not letting me cut that side like I literally just did to the other one. So I guess I'll just do it this way. Oop, maybe not that way. Okay. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I kind of want these to go all the way up to that. Oops, not intersect. Normal. And we'll switch back to global. There we go. I think that works. Oh god, my nose. Feels like I have like a cat hair or something like on it, and there's nothing there. It's driving me crazy. So one. Ah, there we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count. Oh, I'm on local anymore. I'm like, why is this not snapping correctly? That's better. And then going to delete that. And then just use this. Probably should have done an extrusion here too. And right here. That. And then the reason I'm doing it this way is so that the polys are all kind of connected, so that there's no like there's no weird seam that I'll have to fix later. I mean, even if there is a scene, it's way easier to fix than if it's like separate pieces like that. So, come on. Why is this not? What I really should do is break this whole thing into its own object. So now it should be that and that and that. Cool. And then we can sew some of this back together. So let's merge those. Oops. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Did not have a proper cut there for that to work. Now that should all be selectable. Alright, let's open up my UV editor, and I apologize, this is off the screen. Apparently my stuff stopped playing. UV editor. All I'm hitting is like one button on the UV editor right now, so you're not missing out on much. That's right. And so is that. And that. And let's merge that in. But let mirror merge. We'll collapse those dips. Those down. If I could stop selecting the one on the other side of it. Like so. Apparently I merged that one too and didn't undo it, but there, it doesn't matter, it's fixed already. Cool, so that should be good. And now be able to go up those stairs. Have this kind of balcony area, and then okay, that can walk right straight in. So no, that could be like that. I can just do a different material once we get more ground materials. sure I got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. Oh, that takes up way too much of this. Let's do this a different way. Dang dude, you don't have one of your streams from last week on YouTube trying to share to the P99 forums. I don't have, I'm way behind on my streams. After this stream, I'm going to actually upload the rest of them. So I'll ping you, Zukin, when they are up. I've gotten really bad over the last week or 2 weeks probably of not getting my stuff up. Which one were you wanting to share? Out of curiosity. Oops. I don't know why I just didn't hit G or Alt G to select that whole face. Clip of you running around the first little hidden sewer area. Actually, that's enough length, I think, to just do that as a one-off, which is awesome. Cool, so then I can do room off of there, room off of there, and then the same thing up here. I could probably now even get away with making this into a 4. Yeah, helps if I unselect the one side first. There we go. Make it a larger hallway. That's on a half, that's on a half. This would have to be on a half. Actually, that other one would have to be on a half as well. I'm going to expand the building's width in a second. So let's grab it outside. Do the same thing to this side over here. And that. And then we'll just move this back and clean up in here. Like so. Is it not on Twitch? Yeah, it should. I mean, all my VODs are saved on Twitch, but I'm sure he just wants the easy to link YouTube link. Needs to be there. Now here's the question. I'll have to decide whether I want to have it more like this, or if I'm going to want to play around with the edges a bit. Yeah, embedded. That's exactly what I figured you were wanting it that way for. So do these kind of like little apartments. Spot on. Oh wow, I just realized how off-center this is in the building because of the way I entered that. How could I achieve the same idea and have it more centered? Yeah, because that's way bigger on this side. Oops. So let's moment. Yeah. Helps if I'm holding down shift and not control. Oh, one of those days. So that should be what I want to move. Do I have it all selected? The second, I'm gonna, oh, come on. Pro Builder, you are so annoying at times. Jesus. Okay. Better. Oh my god, come on. It's just like, oh, I'm going to select half this model that you didn't select the faces for, but I'm just going to do it for the fun of it. See how you react. Okay, so let's do this. Let's detach these. And we'll shift this so a little bit more centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So let's fix this. will bring that back inside the building. Morning, Rico. How's your morning going? Okay, so now I can merge these back together. And now I'm just going to have to go around all of these edges. Whoop, and weld them. And then these ones apparently did not... Why are all these off? Hold on a second. Oh. Okay. Apparently I didn't have them all on the edge like I thought I did. So let's do that first while I can visually see them like this. This will make my life easier than when they're like just floating off of the other vertices. Hey Kitten Army, how are you doing? Good? Awesome. Glad to hear it. Trying to stay cool here myself. It's grossly hot outside today where I'm located. So I apologize if you guys can hear my AC going, but if it was not going, I would be melting normally, but being in an enclosed room with my graphics card running, I would be in a ridiculously hot sauna otherwise. I feel like those were still off, weirdly enough. Oh, those are on. Off, but they're only off by like a fraction, by like a unit or two. There you go. Nope. Staying there. I thought I grabbed one of the roof vertices. Clayman Dev is raiding with 28. Well, hey, thanks for the raid. And hi, everybody. Did I work on EQ? No, I did not. One of our team members, Sean Lord, did work on EQ for several expansions, actually. But I myself did not. I played a ton of EverQuest, but I did not work on the team. What am I working on? We are working on an MMO that is very much inspired by EverQuest and those kind of first generation MMOs. If you guys would like, there is a link to our project. As I mentioned, Sean, who is the head of the team, is a former EverQuest lead developer. And yeah, so we're just kind of trying to create with a small team. There's currently 11 of us on the team, a kind of classic throwback MMO. I am more of the environment artist and level design. side of things. We have a bunch of team members that are all streaming our development actively. If you guys want, there is a link to our Discord. All the developers are in there, so if you guys have any questions that aren't necessarily directed directly at what I do, again, level design and environment art, you'll be able to kind of throw your questions to the programmers, character artists. Actually, our character artist is in chat right now, so I think Zukin's still in here anyways. But yeah, we're pretty active, especially we develop in the open, kind of interact with the community and stuff like that, so pretty cool. We also have a mailing list if you guys wanted to stay up to date with the game, but don't want to join the Discord. Another good way to do it. Reiko, I'm so hyped for this game. Awesome. Yeah, I'm even though I'm working on it, I'm super hyped for this game as well. So I've been looking for an experience like this for quite some time. It does look awesome indeed. Since there's some new people, and I haven't actually ran around yet today, let me pop into our servers and kind of show off what we got. So let's hop over. We just recently did a new pass on combat and experience, and lengthened our experience because we were progressing a little quickly. And let me hop. This is my high level character, so I'll kill anything that attacks me. But I'm currently working on rebuilding our city. Our first version of this as a standalone zone, but there is an older version of the zone that we currently still have, and I just totally turned the wrong way. And we're going for that very kind of old school, low poly, chunky aesthetic. And of course the sun is going to start setting. Hold on, let me turn off caps lock. Time set 7 a.m. Did I not type that right? Time set 7 a.m. There we go. So we have a lot of the stuff in here, combat and things like that. We're slowly starting to get some of our creature animations and stuff like that online. You can see our snake still doesn't animate yet. But we've got our combat, we've got grouping, merchants. We're starting to kind of bring some of the data from the old version of Shaded Dunes, which used to be a giant zone, a newbie yard, and a city all in one zone, and currently we're kind of breaking it into a newbie yard and a city zone. The city itself is pretty big, so we may end up breaking the city into multiple smaller zones. We'll just see how everything how the server and the game handles it once we start populating with more and more and more stuff in here. But breaking it into individual zones won't be too difficult. For low poly, the characters look fantastic. All credit to Zukin and Goblin. Goblin is our concept artist, and he does texture painting as well. Him and Zukin kind of tag teamed them. And we're starting to it's still early. We've been playing around with tones, skin tones and stuff like that. So this one's a little dramatic right now, but we've been adding in other layers, so like blush layers and stuff like that, so that it's not just a flat tone. So there's a little bit more realism in terms of where like blood vessels and stuff are going to naturally tint skin colors a little bit. But yeah, so we've got that. We've got let's zone in. We've got some Tomb. You can actually see it right over here. A representation of where it's going to be. That's not the actual. We haven't concepted out what it's going to look like. Zone. Why did that not work? Worms, Bane, Tomb. There we go. Helps if I spell it correctly. So we've been kind of, again, building out a proof of concept. Let me grab a torch so we can see. And I'll turn off aggro. So this is one of our lobby dungeons. There's a little frame rate hit. I have to fix. There's something going on with the blue torches that you'll see in a bit that are killing the performance. I thought I turned off aggro. Why is that? Are you still following me? Weird. Huh, something broke. But yeah, so this is our lobby dungeon that is intended to support lobby characters. And I'm going to end up training this entire zone because I can't shut off aggro. And again, I apologize for that frame rate hit. I need to come in here and fix that, or figure out what exactly it is. I think what we're going to need to do is occlude shadows more dynamically. Yeah, I'm just going to train this entire zone around as I show this off to you guys. So without giving up too much lore, because we don't, that's one thing we are, even though we're opening, or the development's kind of happening in the open, we're trying to hold back the lore so you guys kind of discover the story as we play. But this is essentially an old tomb that you get to explore very early on. So we want to have low-level dungeons, high-level dungeons, and kind of support that experience from, you know, level 1 all the way through multiple levels. And I'm going to get huge frame rate hits now because these things are going to be casting on me, and I'm by the blue torches, and I'm pretty sure it's these things that are really causing the issue. Oh, the named guy is on me as well. I do not know why my /aggro is not working, and why every time I type / that keeps jumping. GM on. Okay. Yeah, something got broken recently. So I'm just going to train this around. Yeah, train to zone. Good thing this is my level 60 character that I can run around with and not worry about dying. But yeah, so, you know, kind of playing around with a low-level dungeon. And what we're doing is working on a proof of concept. So we have like 8 to 10 zones that we're really trying to flush out for the proof of concept to kind of give the entire experience of what we want the game to be. You know, low-level experience all the way through high-end experiences. And yeah, just kind of playing around with this. All the stuff that you see here is, you know, very placeholdery. You know, these banners don't have any real textures on them. You know, this brick texture, or the stone texture, is probably not what will be the end texture here. You know, this dungeon was thrown together pretty quickly. I think I built it initially where we could actually run around in it and start populating it probably in like a day. And then I've done a couple passes here and there, but turning the shadows on has definitely caused some issues that we'll have to come in and address. So let me go back. Zone shaded dunes. Zone shaded dunes. Why is that? There we go. I just mistyped that one. Blame the coders. Yeah, it's definitely something to do with the number of shadows, because it's fine in there until I turn the shadows on, but we added some extra rooms and it caused some weird light bleeds, so I had to turn more and more shadows on. So this is the old version of the city. So if I turn on... Oh, yeah. Fly. Yeah, something broke. Yeah, because my fly command doesn't work. So something with the GM commands broke in the last, like, day or so. That had been, like, in the last push. Or last couple pushes, probably this morning. So I'll have to make a bug report on that. But, yeah, so this is the old city. And you can see there's a huge zone off of here. So let me actually just pop over to the editor version of this stuff, since I can't fly around. So here's the old version of the city. You know, a lot of this stuff is just kind of facade, and was just kind of a lot of this was built mostly before I got on the project. And then we have shaded dunes over here. And then kind of a representation of one of our other dungeons, which will need to get reworked at some point. And then this is going to be kind of similar to how we're treating it. So we're going to have a entrance to the dungeon, you know, with a bunch of ruins and stuff around it. We'll probably end up shrinking that overall area down some. But yeah, so, you know, kind of played around with different things that we will, you know, kind of learn some stuff. So here's like an underground dungeon area. And a lot of this stuff is going to kind of carry over to the real game. Not the real game, but like the real zone. So playing around with like secret passages and things like that. Let me log back in. I can give you a tour of that underground area. Again, some of these elements are going to get moved into the main city at, relatively soon. As I kind of continue to build out. And I've been working from one direction, kind of pushing further and further to the east. So these were some of the first buildings I did once I joined the project, and I'll have been on the project for a year early in September. So these were one of the first things I did. And I just kind of reworked the shapes that they had kind of built into the marketplace initially. And then this was stuff that we did based on concepts from our concept artists. Let me go over here. And where do we have that? So our concept artist kind of was developing some of these areas out. You'll see some of this type of stuff in a minute. But kind of just building it up, and then, you know, some of this is more kind of paint overs of roughed in geo. What's going on? Why did that stop? But anyways, time set 7 a.m. Why are my GM commands all broken? Huh. Slash GM on. There we go. Time set 7 a.m. Yeah, something is weird. You've been there. I can't speak. You've been demoted. You just don't know it yet. But yeah, so kind of playing around with secret areas and being able to like tuck content. We want our cities to not be starter cities. We want them to be like full cities. So we have content zones and stuff like this. This was an experiment with like how much I could fit in this just tiny little area. So it expanded well beyond that. We have another weird kind of bug with the character getting launched as we run up steps and stuff like that we got to fix. But so yeah, just kind of just playing around with like a little like smuggler's hideout, and then kind of went crazy with it. So eventually some of this stuff will appear in the actual city. And then you kind of break through that wall, or that broken wall, into this kind of like cultist area. And I want to eventually make this kind of dangerous trek kind of a little bit longer because it's really short. But if you fall down there, you die, type of a thing. So I kind of want to extend this eventually kind of longer. And then you have to drop down. And it's kind of like the hole in EverQuest. Like, you can't get back up there without... well, I have a way back out of it. But you can't go back up the way you came. So if you wanted to get back out, you'd have to fight your way up this tunnel. Seems like when you left arrow, the slash command is not registering as a command. Yeah, there's something weird going on. That's something really was not happening yesterday when I was running around. So we've been pushing a lot of updates, or the programmers have, so I'm sure something got broken. But yeah, you have to kind of drop back down through here. And again, materials are just kind of thrown on here just to have something beyond the grid pattern. And it's kind of making it look like it was a cave that had been kind of repurposed, so kind of like a construction pile and stuff like that. So this was just kind of an experiment and having fun while I was waiting for the lore stuff that we needed to build the actual city to be kind of completed. And it's been a process. So it's been things have been changing and stuff like that as I've been building it. But there's enough there to kind of really build off of it, and then we can make changes as we go. We don't have a strict, like, we want it to be like this particular layout. A lot of it's been kind of like how this was put together. A lot of it's been kind of freestyling to a degree within like a bounds of like, this is what the area needs to be, kind of play around with it. So this was kind of an experiment of like ways that we could potentially get to some of these underground kind of sand-filled ruins. So the city's been built on top of several cultures. So there's ruins and stuff like that. So below the city's kind of built on the ruins of a previous civilization, which is kind of based off of this design. So there's like balcony pieces, which almost look like, just weird railings and stuff sticking out of the sand, where in reality we're, feet above the actual street. So kind of played around with that and the ability to see into areas but not be able to get into them. Although we didn't have, when I was building this, we didn't have the gnomes. The gnomes are very tiny in our game. We may adjust them. We've talked about bringing them up just a little bit, but a gnome can actually pass through there, which was not my intent initially. So our gnomes are small, but you can see this area was never actually finished. Again, it was more of an experiment. So then you go down here into like the old sewers. Although the sewers are going to be different, the lore's changed on them at this point. I was playing around also with some old school kind of illusionary walls and stuff like that. So, like, this looks like it ends, but in reality it's just a secret. There's like a secret wall that you can kind of go through to get to, this area where like a named mob or something could be. So it was a lot of experiments. Originally this all had texture on it. I don't know when it broke. But again, I haven't been really working in this version of the zone in a while now. So, yeah. Let's zone back over to our current version of the city, which is called Night Harbor. Oh, so if I actually type zone. Weird. It's not giving me the I wonder if there's been an update since I started streaming, and that's what's causing issues. Nope. Class zone. Night Harbor. Am I spelling that correctly? Yep. EQ Super Jump 5s. Yeah, we one of the things we were doing recently was playing around with our character controller, specifically the animation stuff. So something broke with our jump, so we kind of get this weird Mission Impossible. If I can get a good camera angle, it almost looks like you're like diving down on somebody. But yeah, that's not I don't think that's intended to be the jump. But yeah, so kind of building into our city, working on certain areas. Sean and Nick have been slowly starting to bring in population from the original area, and again, a lot of this is, you know, kind of placeholdery in terms of textures and stuff like that. Like some of these textures we might use, but we'll have more textures, more grunge maps and stuff like that. Ooh, I haven't actually ran around in here yet since the merchants and stuff have been added. So it's really kind of cool to watch the city that I've been building for the last couple months slowly become alive, or come alive. So, but yeah, one of the first things I was doing was getting that Traveler's Ward set up, and then get the city walls on the west side of the city traversable. So they're traversable. I can get up on top of some of these, and then walk. Let me get this direction. I started focusing on the garrison because that was a huge part of the city walls on the west end of our city, or not the west end. I'm sorry, the south end of our city, south side of our city. Why is it doing that? Time set 7 a.m. Yeah, it seems like it works sometimes and then doesn't other times, so I will be making bug reports later. But this is our garrison, so some of the more martial classes will have spell trainers and stuff here. So we have archer and ranger and stuff like that. I believe this is what we're going to be doing as an academy, so some of the trainers and stuff will be in there as well. And then there's all sorts of little kind of points of interest and stuff that are going to be built into here. So we've got there's like barracks, there's like a mess hall, there's going to be, you know, kind of more towers up here on top. There's a jail cell over, or not a jail cell, there's like a prison over there. We have a courthouse, tribunal type area. Over here, there is a, excuse me, a temple to one of the gods that's kind of built into here. Oops, helps if I go the right direction. Yeah, yeah, Zukin, I think something broke with the slash commands. I don't know what is causing it, though. So yeah, kind of a temple. This is super like a representative placeholder statue. It was initially done for that Tomb of the Last Wormsbane, which was the dungeon I was running around in earlier. So, and then it turned out that did not represent the god once I got a little bit more familiarized with the lore on that god. So I made something that's a little bit more, again, still placeholdery, but just kind of represents what it should be, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the slash commands. Also, Zukin, are you getting it where you hit slash and the text, like, cursor is on the left side of your slash? Because that's been happening to me too all of a sudden. Time set 7 a.m. yeah, I don't know what's going on with our commands, but something definitely broke. But yeah, so we've been doing that. I wish I could show you guys a little bit. Well, the sun's coming up, so you should be able to see it in a little bit. It's a nice little sunrise. Maybe run over here. So again, we're in a proof of concept phase, so a lot of the stuff is just kind of blocking out. You can see there's very representational statues, which actually haven't been shown, but Goblin's been concepting what these guys could look like. So at some point, I'll probably be doing those on stream or editing them on stream, depending on when I decide to start doing that. But you can see here, there's a whole military dock down below that I've been kind of playing with. This whole area is pretty gigantic, actually. And then there's going to be more of the merchant docks over here, and then there's going to be kind of like the fisherman wharf kind of lower class dock area over there. This area is kind of more of the kind of warehouse and a little bit of marketplace spillover. And then, hey Goblin, how's it going? And then we've got a kind of, excuse me, park area that's going to be over there. And then the area that I was working on when the raid happened is our market area. So you can see a lot of this is still very just representational boxes to kind of where things are going to be. But over here we have, some more, I'll say refined, but again, a lot of this stuff is up to iteration and passes and stuff like that. So this little amphitheater stage is kind of going to be the Bard class house area. So kind of like a backstage area where we could have, spell vendors or quest givers. Also, I need to get the door working on this, but this is going to be a kind of a trap door into the stage that would take you down, and there'll be trainers and spell givers, quest givers, that type of thing in the area down there. And then there's a whole bunch of areas that can just be spell givers, trainers, merchants. Again, holy shit, Nick and I had the coolest talk ever. Yeah, I saw you guys were having we're going to have a conversation, but I needed to get some lunch in before my stream, and then didn't want to cancel the stream, so I'll let you guys talk. You guys have to fill me in later. But yeah, just been kind of working on how these buildings and houses and stuff like that can work in terms of our the flow of our market area. Playing around with some ideas on that we've had from the concepts with the market, and just kind of getting the flow and the feel of how we want the city to really flow. And then there's gonna be more stalls and market stands and stuff like that kind of attached to off the side of buildings and stuff like that as we go. But we're slowly starting, certain angles are starting to feel like a city. And again, kind of paying attention to points of interest and, where are you in the city? We need to kind of figure out what we're going to do over here. It might just be more, kind of houses and things like that. We want to support, player housing, guild housing, things like that as well. So buildings and stuff that don't necessarily fit any specific gameplay element might end up, being available for purchase for players and stuff like that. Once we really lock in on that system and kind of figure out how we want to do that. Some of these things may end up changing to make it kind of fit however that system ends up coming together. But yeah, so that's kind of been what I've been doing, kind of playing around with some of the concept ideas and iterating on those. Again, some of this is super representational, just really basic structure, shapes. and then they'll be brought into Maya, which is the 3D application I am most comfortable with, and then exported back out as FBX. But when they're in Maya, I can do all sorts of more advanced UVing that is not going to make me cry because I'm moving every individual UV into its own space. So last week or so I've been kind of working my way from this way over, and then gonna start working on these buildings in the middle. You guys kind of came in where I was working on this building, and then kind of into this area over here, which is more, the front of it might be more market based. So housing and stuff that maybe, someone wants to be more of a crafter and a trader in the game. That's actually a really long jump. I'm surprised that's able. Oh, I have run speed on. I'm like, why am I able to make that? But yeah, kind of just playing around with the layout a little bit. Again, you can see it's super rough right now. Slowly going through and adding in arches and stuff like that. You can see I think I missed one back here. So, super rough pass, and then slowly start adding in more detail. And then eventually we'll go in and do a full-on art pass where we're going in with a full palette of, production-ready materials and set dressing, and kind of really, kind of make it feel the way we want to. There's going to be some places and some things that are going to be, again, kind of more experimental, because we are trying to blend that kind of old school, late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic, that classic feel, kind of P99 feel, I guess, to a more modern feel. So kind of having it as have it updated but familiar at the same time. Oh, cool! There's a barkeep in here now. So yeah, that is kind of what I've been working on. Innkeeper. It's really cool to see these places starting to come alive. So let me hop out of here, and we'll hop back over, and I'll keep working on that building that I was working on. But yeah, anybody, if you're new or not, if you ever have any questions about things, let me know, and I will do my best to answer. Also, we have other team members that are frequently in each other's streams. So, like Zukin, again, is our character artist. Goblin is our concept artist. They can always answer questions for you as well. Or you can always hop into the Discord and have your questions hopefully asked. Again, we're very, very open in terms of what we're doing, why we're doing things. Some things, obviously, again, what we are keeping a little bit more wraps on, specifically lore and stuff like that. We want you guys to discover the story, and that's part of the adventure. So we're trying to leave some of that more of a mystery, but other than that, feel free to ask, and we will do our best to give you an answer, point you to someone who has the answer, or tell you that is something that is to be determined, which again, several elements are still to be determined. Oh my god, my nose. Feels like I've got, like I said earlier, it feels like I've got like a cat hair or something in my nose, and it will not go away. And my cat currently does not live with me, so that is not the issue. What's the lore of the pathway outside? Which pathway? Are we talking about, like, this one? Because this is essentially just, I believe, supposed to be a reminiscent of, like, the old roads and stuff that the original city was built on. Because this doorway is kind of a big point of interest in the city, that it kind of leads right to that, and then leads right to this old ziggurat that has been kind of repurposed. But again, without giving too much lore away, but that's essentially what that is. There'll probably be some, maybe, market type merchants and stuff out here, and then probably some more buildings and stuff off to the side here, as I kind of develop this area out more. So this is our market right now, and there's probably gonna be some more of this, like, sprawl-ish type buildings that might have some more market themes and stuff that kind of carry into this area. But this is the main market, and there might be some of that kind of extends into this area. Me and Hamad, who did our initial layout. Where's the redacted version? So, I guess actually probably that one doesn't need to be redacted, but actually no, I can't show the other one. The other one's got secrets on it. But kind of the initial idea, the layout of it was the initial layout, and then I'm kind of going in and doing more of the actual street level. How does this feel? How are our lines of sight? Trying to frame cool shots when I can, that type of thing. Beautiful. Thank you, Goblin. Afternoon, Rev Tremlin. How you doing? But yeah, so doing that. This area is going to be more of a crafting area. This is the tanneries. And then we have a whole temple complex that's going to be under here. Right now, there's nothing in this version. Whoa, that was not supposed to be like that. Let's fix that. Even though this whole area is going to be redone, that looks really weird. So we'll fix this real quick. So, just like that. And weld those together. And these ones, whoop, hold on, I'll grab another part of that mountain in the background. And again, some of this stuff is, again, super just kind of placeholdery as other parts of the city are brought online. Because I'm the primary level design environment artist on the team. Sean also will help me out from time to time with blocking stuff out. So we have a bunch of other zones that are like roughed in, so that Sean did the initial kind of just block out pass based off of some of Ham's map planning, and then once I'm done here or have enough of the city parts that we want kind of built out, I can hop over and start doing cleanup passes and stuff like that. But essentially, again, market area, garrison, traveler's ward area with our inn and some temples and stuff like that. This is going to be the docks and warehouse area, the park. This is the necropolis, which is going to be much bigger. This area is going to kind of be pushed back, and there's going to be some subterranean crypts and stuff like that over there, and encounter spaces. And then we've got Sage Side over here, which is kind of more of our, what we're calling our tier 2, so it's going to be a little bit more upscale, a little fancier. It's where our Wizard's Tower, which is this phallic looking placeholder currently, is going to be, and then it'll progress up into this tier 3 area, which is based off of a concept that Goblin did for us a while ago. So I was just kind of playing with that look and feel, getting these buildings to feel like how could they feel on the outside and what do they look like on the inside. So did some iteration on them. We did one that was a little bit smoother. I think it had 4 more polygons to make it more round, but it was feeling a little too round, and again, we're trying to keep that kind of chunky old school aesthetic, and it also kind of led itself to this kind of almost octagonal feel where it's like this whole thing is a face, this whole part's a face almost. So again, placeholder textures just thrown on there to kind of get the idea, and I was kind of playing around with the different levels and stuff like that. So not by any means complete, just kind of experimental, playing around with it. But it even kind of gives a cool feel where you can kind of start to feel some of those spires and tops of the houses, similar to some of these other concepts that we've done. So, again, still in that phase where we're just kind of, feeling stuff out. What do we like, what we don't like? But really the focus is getting this area in. And then we got, like I said, our dock area. There's a lighthouse over here, which I believe actually Sean put a NPC on during his last stream. This is going to be kind of our Fisherman's Wharf area. So it's going to kind of extend down this way. And then this is what we're calling the bends. So this is kind of our poor area. So it's going to be a little more run down. There's going to be... where is our... not the correct concept. So, kind of run down, kind of shanty town. A lot of buildings and stuff made with old ship parts and masts and stuff. It's going to be both kind of potentially player housing, but also encounter spaces. So if you're running around in the back alleys, you might run into some cutthroats or thieves that might mug you, that type of thing. So eventually this will be built out more. There's going to be this broken bridge over here, and then there's going to be some ruins and stuff that you'll be able to see, but at least for the proof of concept will not be playable. Future content type thing. And then this is going to be a second newbie yard. So there's going to be a newbie yard off this side, and then it will go into Sungreet Strand, which is this other zone over here. That's going to be more of a kind of like date grove, so it's going to be more like desert farming theme. And then that'll go into the Glass Flats, which is kind of like a Badlands glass area, and then into Dragon's Run, Vale of Zentar, which is a large zone that will connect back to Shaded Dunes, which will be on the other side of these mountains, which is kind of that older zone that I was running around in earlier. So these are probably going to end up getting moved. I think we're going to end up shortening this down a bit. Oh, someone put some trees over here. Oh, I bet you these are the... Oh yeah, that's totally... I know what that's from. Never mind. I just hadn't seen them yet in the zone. So yeah, this will probably be changed, and again, everything's kind of really placeholdery. This will go into our Shaded Dune zone, and then Fallen Watch and stuff will be shown. So as these things get developed, you'll start to see pieces of them in other zones. We've got things like floating citadels and stuff like that you'll be seeing kind of floating off in the distance. So there's always going to be, we're going to try to keep it so that even though we're doing the old school zone-based gameplay, it'll still feel like you're seeing other parts of the world as you're moving around. We just like that. We like some of the gameplay that comes from that old school zone approach, as opposed to that, you know, giant traversable world approach that a lot of modern MMOs go with. So specifically deciding to kind of go with some of those, you know, not currently in gameplay decisions to make a more unique experience that's not really available outside of, you know, something like P99 these days, or maybe like old school RuneScape or something like that. But yeah, so again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout out. I'm gonna kind of get back to working on this structure here. Let's see. You built this city? It's been a team effort. Thanks, Goblin. Now that's stuck in my head. Yeah, it's stuck in my head the second I said it. Put the city on rock and roll. And Pro Builder. Brick by brick. Yeah, sorry, I haven't slept in 24 hours. I'm a bit loopy. Well, 20, close enough. Dude, I cannot do all-nighters anymore. I used to do them all the time in college. My body doesn't let me do that shit anymore. Yeah, I physically can't do it anymore. I think the longest I ever stayed up was 36, 40 hours, somewhere around there. Was on a student ambassador trip to the UK when I was in like middle school, and did not get much sleep that first day. I was completely like delirious. I remember like we ended up going to, it still annoys me to this day. We went to like a play, the Buddy Holly story, so about an American guy, and then I ended up not going to, I forget they canceled the trip to the castle. Our plane got delayed, so they decided to cancel the trip to the castle, but we ended up still going to see the play. But anyways, I was trying to fall asleep like during the play because I just didn't have any interest in it. And there was some old dude who I'm pretty sure was from like Texas. He had like the Texas accent and big like 10-gallon hat and big old belt buckle, and he was totally into all of the Buddy Holly songs, and he was sitting right behind me, and I did not mean to do that. And the entire time, he's just like clapping and like kicking the back of my seat, and I'm just sitting there like, I just want to sleep. And I was so out of it by that time. The intermission happened, and I did not think intermission. I just grabbed my luggage and like walked out of the theater and was standing out in the middle of London. Like, I was like 13 or 14, just like chilling out in the middle of the streets of London, no idea what was going on. And then I like woke up enough to be like, oh, that wasn't, like, I was out there waiting for probably like 10, 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, that wasn't the show ending, that was intermission. I got to go back in. But yeah, I was definitely out of it. But all through college, I was able to handle like all-nighters and stuff like that. It's the only way I made it through art school. did I do that? Hold on, let me bring this back. Got so into my story, I started like collapsing edges that I still needed. Even with the AC on in here, my room is toasty. It is gross outside. Again, I apologize for anybody who can hear my AC going. In the background, but even with it on and like directed right on me, it is getting gross. It's like, I think the heat index here is like 102 today. And I am not a warm weather person by any means. I think I stayed up more than 24 hours like 3 times in my entire life. I just love sleep too much. I am a giant fan of sleep. As I've gotten older, though, my body is like, oh, you want more sleep? And then just kind of is like, psych. It's always the days that I can actually sleep in that my body's like, oh, you're up at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. Like, you thought you were going to get to sleep in. Ha, ha, ha. And then it's the days that, like, I have to get up that my body's like, oh, you wanted to go to sleep at a decent time because you have to get up early? Ha, ha, ha. Insomnia. So, yeah, my body loves to hate me. But I am a giant fan of sleep. I just don't get probably as much as I should. But I still can't do that all-nighter crap anymore. My body doesn't like that either. I'm just non-functional the next entire day. Yeah, you are wearing a toque? A toque? Is that a Canadian word for beanie? I'm on honest question. I'm not sure what that means. I love my beanies. They are nice, like a nice warm head hug. And it's advertisement. If it's pointing the right direction. But I would honestly wear a beanie all year long if it wasn't for like the heat index. So nowadays I end up wearing a baseball hat. My hair is definitely a lot thinner than it used to be. And if I do not wear a hat outside, I get a really awesome peely red lobstery looking head. But if I could, I would wear a beanie all year long. See, I need to find a place that is just perpetually like 65 degrees all year long. That is like my ideal environment. So if anybody knows of a location that is perpetually 65 degrees all year long, fill me in. Stop hiding the secret location, because I'm already over this temperature. I'd love to go for a walk after this stream, but I probably will not get around to doing that until like the sun goes down. And it's supposed to, I think, still be gross tonight. Complaining about room temp wears winter hat. True. That is a factual statement that I will not argue against. But honestly, it's not my my head that is feeling like overheated. Like my head's not like sweating. Which, for anybody who doesn't have a bald head, as you lose your hair, all of a sudden you notice your head sweats a lot more. Which I think is just the fact that it's not getting caught up in your hair like it used to when you had hair. But yeah, my head's fine. It's my like arms and legs and body that feel worse mugginess and gross. And it's mostly because I'm sitting next to a computer that like I can hold my hand over right now and it feels like a space heater. And it's all getting trapped underneath the desk, so I'm sure that's a big part of the issue. 65 degrees all year long. That would be a cave, or maybe a tomb, if you're fancy. Could be a tomb inside of a cave. Honestly, I love caves. I have not been to a cave for a couple of years, but caves are awesome. Caves and mines and all that fun stuff. I'd love to go scuba diving in a cave, but I have never taken scuba lessons, so probably should learn that first. Okay, so that building is done. Let's see how... I think this roof is probably higher than it needs to be. Yeah, there we go. I follow a TikTok where a guy crawls through these tiny caves and it gives me anxiety. That one, I'm not as skinny as I used to be, so I wouldn't be doing that. And I've got like bad shoulder and a bad knee and all sorts of like old injuries that contorting like that would not be fun. But yeah, those I know exactly the type of videos you're talking about where they're like wheeling their way through. I'm not even that claustrophobic. I don't get claustrophobia that bad, but man, those I couldn't do those. I do like I said, I like going through caves, and I can go through like ones that, you know, get kind of skinny, but ones where I'm going through a hole that's like bare, that's like my shoulders. I have broad shoulders too, so like if my shoulders can't fit through it, and I can't go through sideways, nah, I'll pass. I'll send a robot in or something like that, or give some moral support to someone who's brave enough to go in, but that is not me. You know what? Maybe this stairwell will also go to the second level of this one, but the second level of this one would be more around that height. It's one thing I'm like consciously trying to do, like when I can play around with split levels, so I'm not going up like a full story. Like if I can get half story stuff in, I want to try to do that. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. Because we've been looking at like different ways to sprawl cities and stuff like that. Like I have a huge. Let me open up my PureRef document. I have a huge PureRef document here that has all sorts of different images and stuff that I collected. That this is the bizarre type stuff. You know, just looking at like the different ways. You know, these cities in like Morocco and Yemen and places like that. How, you know, you have these different tiers that kind of are stacked up on top of each other to really kind of get that, and you know, not having every floor necessarily being perfectly built like they would be more like in a modern Western city. So I have a bunch of this type of stuff that we've looked off of, and then, you know, concepts that Goblin has done. Where is it? Like this one, kind of take that into account. So, you know, like half steps and stuff like that. This structure's actually been kind of roughed out and then copy and paste. This was roughed out in the old zone. So this is just kind of like weirdly placed. So it might be it's floating in places. But, you know, kind of like playing around again with those half heights and stuff like that to give more of a stacked feeling, and it gives kind of cool tiers and stuff when you look at it from certain angles. So you got like, you know, all these different kind of competing diagonal lines and stuff like that, just make more interesting compositions from various angles. Let's see. Yet my brain would tell me the mountain is moving and I'd lose my mind. If it's big enough for me to get up on hands and knees, I'd be fine. Anything more restrictive than that, just watching someone else do it freaks me out. Yeah, I think if I could crawl through something on hands and knees, I'd be fine. I don't know about army crawling. Again, that goes down to the fact that I've just got a bunch of just old lingering injuries that getting on the floor and stuff is not as fun as it used to be. I think I'm finally reaching that. I'm also reaching that age in my life where, like, I'm just getting old. And I can feel it more and more. But all the old injuries don't help at all. Nutty Putty cave incident is nightmare fuel. I regret looking that up. I'll have to look that up later. Nutty Putty cave incident. I'll definitely check that out. But I'm sure I'll regret checking that out. But also, Fex, F-E-K-C, welcome to the chat. How do I want to do this one? I think I'm going to have... This is like the front of the building, so I'll just do the stairs/ramp in the back. So let's try this. And that's 3. So 3 is what I've been using for kind of more narrow passages. I may make this 4. Or what I may do is move those over. So it needs to be 3. Come on. Select the face I want you to select. Okay, so if I'm doing this as 4 or 3.5, that should be fine. Let's push this over to 4. There we go. It's a pretty awful way to go out, honestly. Yeah, I can imagine what that video is, and I would agree. Although, personally, obviously I haven't experienced it, but I feel like burning is probably the worst way to go out. So, I'm not sure I would be fighting a red dragon in real life. Oh, come on. Pro Builder gets so weird at times. Can I do this as a full story? Yes, there's enough distance that I can actually just have that as one ramp, which is sweet. Okay, so let's give ourselves a doorway. Hold on. This doorway is too high. What is going on? Oh, I know what is going on. There we go. That's better. Thanks, buddy. No, you're welcome. Alright. So, I'll probably end up finishing this building off, and then that'll probably be the stream for today. Which put me a little over. I usually do 2-hour streams, but my stream on Monday got cut short because Unity decided it hated me and was just done for the day. And was not opening back up. So I called the stream a little early to figure out what was going on, and it just needed to reset. But by that point, there was only like 20 minutes left in the stream, and I didn't feel like starting another one, so I'm gonna do a little bit longer in this stream. Speaking of streaming, for anybody who's new, and I believe several of you guys are, since there was a raid, there are other members of the team that stream. So A Loving Robot is Sean. He's the former EverQuest lead that I had mentioned. Had worked on EverQuest. He is A Loving Robot. Some of you may be familiar with his development interviews that he's done in the past with other former EQ devs. He will frequently stream kind of like overviews of like where the project is, what we've been working on. We'll do play tests and stuff on his stream as well, as a group. So those are kind of fun to watch. I wouldn't be shocked. There's no plan that I'm aware of to do a group test stream in the next coming couple days, but with all of the changes that have been pushed for combat and not DPS, which would be part of combat, but experience curves and stuff like that, I would not be surprised to see another team, like a full team or a close to full team play test at some point in the near future on stream. And then Zukin, like I mentioned, who I don't know if he's still in chat, but was earlier, is our character and critter artist. So he'll do animations, he'll do texture work, he'll do modeling, that type of thing. And then Goblin is our concept artist, and he kind of does a little bit of everything, to be honest, on the art side. So he will do a little bit of modeling adjustments. He'll do texturing of characters and critters and things like that. He'll do obviously concepts, where he'll be, kind of diving in and seeing how things could work. So check out that. Nick will stream. He hasn't done it in a little bit, but he'll stream QA stuff and design work. And then Ali hasn't streamed anything on Twitch, but he has put up, he put up part of a series on programming on our YouTube, which I just linked. And I apologize, I still haven't uploaded my last several YouTube, or my last several VODs to YouTube. I will be doing that later this evening. I already promised Zukin that I would get it done, but it will happen. My problem lately has just been like, I sit down, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna work on the game, and then I start working on the game, and I don't go, oh, I really need to upload these past VODs, which I have them all downloaded. I just need to upload them and write descriptions, which is honestly my least favorite part, is doing the whole descriptions and thumbnails and all that. Occasionally I'll sit there and actually like Photoshop out a fun one, but I pick the low-hanging fruit, the ones that are really easy to do that with. So how do I handle this? I guess I'll just do that. And then we will do that. Oop. It really annoys me when Pro Builder does that. I select one face and it's just like, oh, nope, you selected up there. So we got that one. Actually, you know what? No, I think I'll leave it like that. Let's these. So it's going to be two apart. And then I've got another full set. So let's do this. There. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's centered. More. Do I want... No, let's do it like that, okay. Sorry, being indecisive on some of these things. And then Rev Chumley says, had a great time with your stream the other day, Goblinworks. I hope the Goblin Bard wasn't too much trouble. Yeah, that was a cool concept that he did. I actually missed that stream. I think I actually went to bed early that night. and then woke up to a goblin bar and was like, whoa, that was different and unexpected. Okay, so what else could I do? A large room over here. That. This to be the shorter run. And by shorter, I mean like less depth. And then maybe this actually be a little bit taller of a ceiling as well. Oops. I'm not sure what I clicked there. Oh shoot, I went through that wall. This is going to take a little bit of cleanup. I guess I could like just Control Z back and fix this, but let's just have fun and fix it this way. Probably should grab that whole edge like that. Okay, and then that's there. And we'll delete that. Oops. Gotta be careful not to grab vertices somewhere else on the model when you do that. And then get it there. And that space is too small to be its own room, so. Does that look better, or would this just being a larger room look better? I'm a little indecisive on this one. Oops, I forgot to raise the roof. Maybe that roof would be a little smaller. Cool. Alright, so that is good for now. So we need an area beneath it. And this needs... Can I do this? Oh, because of that. I need to get the terrain fixed for this side of the road. I have this side of the road where there's like no terrain underneath, but this side is still just complete like cluster of lines cutting back and forth across. So I'll need to clean up all the terrain in this area, and eventually, like I already set up some of the spots on this side. It does not like this. Terrain is so massive at this point. Probably really doesn't like it. But eventually I can grab some of these. I have it laid out so I can grab these and kind of push them down to have some of those subterranean levels beneath the marketplace. Maybe they're not aligned where they're going to be, but like I have it kind of pre-planned so like I can have some space where there's those slats that are going to be through this street and then kind of cutting into here. So I think certain areas I'm going to have that where you can see through, and then see some of the ruins and stuff underneath the city through some of the planks and stuff, kind of like over here. Granted, this isn't like a gameplay space. This is just alluding to their stuff underneath. And that this square is actually built on top of a house, an old ruined house. So, yeah, kind of playing around with those types of things. But I think I'm going to call it here for today, and then hopefully by the time I stream again Friday, although I may end up having to move my Friday. I'm supposed to have a meeting with another project that I'm working on. Like I moved to Friday, so I need to figure out when that's going to be. But normally, my streams are Monday night, Eastern Standard Time at 8 p.m., Wednesday at 1 p.m., and then I've been doing a Friday one around either 9 or 10 a.m. Again, the Friday one, I'm not sure when it's going to be. Stay tuned to our Discord channel. If I cancel, move it, or whatever, I usually post them there. Sorry, I always find hiccups towards the end of my streams. I do not know why. But hopefully I'll have at least that building finished and then these finished, and then we'll kind of start tackling these areas and playing around with them in a little bit more detail. Have a good one, man. Looking good. Thanks, Nick. Rev Chumley says, thanks for the stream, Pittis. Oh, no problem. But next week, I haven't gotten the yes or the no on the class, but I'm supposed to be teaching the class next week. So I'm guessing since I haven't heard a no, it means yes. At least that's what I'm hoping. So my streams for the next 2 weeks will all be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I'm just like dead after a day of work or something like that, I'll again stay tuned to the Discord. I usually just post in the general channel if I'm calling a stream or something like that. For anybody who's new, this is a link to our website, Monsters and Memories. We are making a indie MMO that is very influenced by the classic first generation MMOs. So think your EverQuests, Ultima Online, Asheron's Call, things like that. Oh, apparently I've got a graphics card driver update to do. But anyways, excuse me. So yeah, we're going for a very niche kind of experience that is very targeted in that kind of very social sandbox MMO feeling from the late 90s, early 2000s, and trying to recapture that. So if you are interested, again, feel free to join the Discord. We've got a pretty big community at this point. I think there's like 1,050 people in there right now. It's fairly active. We have all sorts of different conversations going on, whether it's about our game, and, again, all the developers are in there, so if you have any questions, feel free to shout out, and, one of us will answer that. Or you tag us and, ask somebody directly. But, yeah, we got stuff on that. We've got, just conversations going on about just game design in general, other MMOs, things like that. Tabletop gaming, we've got places where community members will share, their own art and stuff like that, whether it's about the game or other things they've done in the past. It's always fun to see that type of stuff. So, if you want to show off some of your work, go ahead. It's always really inspiring to see that kind of stuff. If you want to stay up to date on the game and do not want to join our Discord, the mailing list is a great way to do that. You'll get, when we put out an update, a link to the update. Also, we sometimes send out surveys, and if you want to get in on, potentially get in on testing, we're hoping to be able to open up the game to some community members to help us test stuff out by the end of the year. It's kind of like an internal goal, if I could speak, an internal goal to, by the end of the year, have that. We'll see if it happens. I think we should be able to get some. We should be able to get there by the end of the year. So you'll want to be part of the mailing list if you're hoping to do that. Again, that's all the other team members that are streaming. Throw them a follow. That way you get a notification when they go live. If you enjoyed the stream, throw this channel a follow. Again, you'll get a notification whenever I go live. If you're watching this VOD on YouTube, somewhere down below, which I also just put a YouTube link if you are on Twitch. If you are on YouTube, somewhere down the description below me should be a link to my Twitch channel, Paytas the Ranger. If you want to join in on the live chats, make sure to throw the follow. You get a notification whenever I go live. Feel free to hop into the chat and, ask questions, make comments, that type of thing. Always fun to engage with new people in the community. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a fun stream. Hi to all the new faces. And I will catch you guys hopefully Friday. If not, again, watch Discord. And I will give a notification either way. So, have a good night, guys.